back-to-back victories. 12 consecutive rounds in the 60s. Improvement from 110th to 2nd in strokes gained putting. You add all that up, and it leads to one thing. The $10 million golf tip of the week. So how about that Billy Horschel, 2014 FedEx Cup champion, put an amazing display of golf on over the last 3 weeks. You know, in the FedEx Cup playoff series, it's a 4-tournament series. And going into the first event, Billy said he wasn't feeling too good about his game, especially his putting, and it showed. He ended up missing the cut. But before the second event, he had a putting lesson with his instructor, Todd Anderson. They made a little tweak in his grip, and it worked, because he finished tied for 2nd in Boston. He won the third event out in Denver, the BMW, and then he went on to finish up with another victory at the Tour Championship down in Atlanta this past Sunday. And that's why we're calling this the $10 million golf tip of the week, because Billy won the FedEx Cup year-long race, which is a $10 million first place prize. So all they worked on, basically to help Billy with his putting, is his grip, like I mentioned earlier. Billy was having no trouble hitting his targets or hitting his lines, but he was having trouble with how far the ball was going. He was having trouble with his distance control. So his feel and his touch was just a little bit off. So all they did was basically stretch out his grip. Okay, on his hand, I should say stretch out his hands on the grip. So his hands were getting pretty close together. His fingers were pretty close, his hands were overlapping quite a bit. So they took his hands and his fingers and they just separated them just a touch more. So he has a lot more coverage of the grip, his hands on the grip. Okay, so if we're looking to gain better feel and better touch on the greens and to help our distances become better, it's through our hands. You know, putting is so feel-based. It's so it's all in our hands. So the more grip that we have in our hands and our fingers, the better off we're going to be. And it showed. You know, the putts that he made, especially coming down the stretch in the Tour Championship, those clutch putts on 13 and 16 were huge for him. So that's what I recommend you trying. If you're having trouble with your distance control, work with your grip a little bit. Just try spreading your hands out, create some coverage, and create some spacing, just a little bit of spacing between your fingers, and see if you can feel it and create better touch. Okay. The last thing I want to mention is if you watch Billy Horschel's putting stroke, and you watched how he was stroking back and through, you could really see how low the putter was finishing at the end of his stroke. It wasn't finishing way up here. Okay, it was finishing low and down his target line. And that's the last thing that I recommend you giving a shot, is working on your finish position. Okay, if we want to control distances, it's all about hitting the center of the face and coming through with the same amount of loft every time. So if our hands are moving all over and we're scooping the putter up and finishing high, we're changing the loft of the face, we're going to hit it on the bottom of the putter. So I recommend finishing low and finishing down your target line. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to putt one and see how it works out. Okay, just going to spread my hands out, spread my fingers out a little bit. I'm going to think about finishing low and down my target line. Okay, so next time you're out, give this a shot. If it works for Billy, it probably will work for us. Spread the hands out, create some more gapping, just a touch, and then think about finishing low down your target line. And who knows, maybe you can cash it in just like Billy did.